Hello, this is Miss Jill Louise Starr. I'm right down the street. I don't think it was even more than 3/4 of a mile. I'm at the Main Avenue Clifton Surgery Center. Let's get a good look at this place because what I have to say is very important when it comes to Al Qaeda and the KLA, Kosovo Liberation Army, illegal pain medicine distribution. The FBI has indicted the owner of this place has been indicting him and the DEA investigating him for half a dozen times in the past. I think I started seeing him in 1966. Dr. Qureshi gave someone a injection of morphine or something, a pain injection, and then fondled her. He bribed his way out of that with the FBI in Wayne that's located on one of my other videos. And he was up, they were going to take his license away. He was in the newspaper recently, but he probably bribed his way out of that. He's a radical from Pakistan. And now that you know I'm superior when it comes to intellectual, now that some local police know that Jill Starr is superior when it comes to criminology, superior to the FBI intellectually, and everyone in this town, I have to excuse them because they wouldn't have known what has happened here unless they came in with a diplomat like Darko Trivunovic and I did between 1999 and 2001. I was getting pain medicines here, and a lot of them. I was getting methadone, I was getting morphines. And you never, I wish this bus would get the hell out of my way. Nobody in town, no FBI agent would even think of this place. Doctors, nice and neat, surgery. Several times when the DEA came down on him hard, Dr. Qureshi, what he did do is he went into only surgery because the laws changed and he can continue to give pain management if he gives injections and surgery, and that's how he does it now. But I went to him for about 10 years. When I did, me and Darko Trivunovic on the anti-terrorist squad, and was former again. I was working him at the United Nations in New York. He was the first secretary of the Bosnian mission, and we used to investigate terrorists in New York. And he exposed several, and we wrote several books. Now, I'm going to give YouTube and everybody in the FBI an explanation as to why I'm investigating the Albanian Islamist American Center and why my trail is right. All these places where I've seen where these terrorists or alleged terrorists are within about 5 square miles of each other. Don't tell me they're not connected. I know better. Now, I'm going to tell you what happened in here. When I was a pain patient, not only did he try, he was married and he tried to pick me up, but that's all right. He was going to buy me necklaces. They had an Albanian doctor. What they do is, if you don't believe me, that people are using their diplomatic immunities to commit Al-Qaeda acts. Believe this. I went here for about 10 years. I have a whole paper trail. I have a paper trail of pharmaceutical and doctor's records. The FBI knows in Wayne because when he was indicted and he was going to go out of business, I had to go to the Wayne to the FBI's undisclosed location to get my records to forward to Dr. Rand, my new pain patient doctor, which I have records of at the Wayne Pharmacy in Butler at the Midtown in New Jersey, in northern New Jersey by Bloomingdale at the shopping center. They have all my records. I have a paper trail to Shifa Pharmacy because I used to have to go down to Shifa Pharmacy. Now, the Albanian doctor, he had diplomatic immunity and he worked for the United Nations. And he was used. He was from Albania and he didn't have any license to give out DEA class 2 narcotics, but he used his diplomatic immunity and used to come up here and he used to write them illegally for me and about 2,000 other patients that used to come here. We used to sit here from 2 in the morning to 1 at night just waiting. He had so many of them because that was his business, his pain medicine, but that wasn't all his business was. The Albanian was a KLA member, he told me, and he was part of the Albanian mission to the United Nations, and he used to come here, and he used his diplomatic immunity to give out illegal pain prescriptions to me that I could fill only, like Cadian. Cadian is a time-release morphine. You could only get that done at the Shifa pharmacy. In fact, I called everywhere from Bloomingdale, New Jersey to Atlantic City, and nobody had Cadian. But you know where they did have it? At Shifa Pharmacy, where the PLO members and my videos that YouTube removed, and last night told me they want to make bombs and they're going to pay me to do it, to get nuclear weapons information from my father and blow up the area and as much as America as possible. So I think I'm right, and I'm on the right trail here. And you know what else? Darko, one day I couldn't make, Darko Trifunovic was with me, the diplomat, and when we walked in, he's my collaborating witness, and he's on the anti-terrorist squad in Serbia. He manages the whole thing. He's in the VOA, Serbian intelligence, was in the military. He can tell you, he walked into this place with me, and they had baskets with dollar bills, and they had flyers with Osama Bin Laden's picture on it. And people were putting money in, and at that time, it was between, Darko might remember better, Arnold just yelled at me because he doesn't want me to use his name in the videos, but I have to vindicate myself that I'm not any type of insane person. I'm superior in intellect to everybody in this town, and it's true. And that's coming from educational psychologists and OSS, CIA, U.S. State Department, and was going to be an appointed U.S. ambassador to Bonn, Germany, but his wife didn't want him to, so he went into teaching education and government, and he used to teach and give out high-ranking security clearances to the topmost clandestine naval officers at MacArthur Naval Base on Long Island. So don't tell me, you listen to him, he's my reference. Now, also, when Darko Trifunovic and me, Dr. Darko Trifunovic, anti-terrorist expert that gives lectures all over Europe on terrorism, came in here with me, like I said, they were raising money, and not one person that worked here even minded. They had flyers promoting Bin Laden, and Darko saw them. And then we went down to the Shifa pharmacy, and they had the same thing. Darko and I were shocked. I went to fill my prescriptions because I had to drop them off in the United Nations and back home in New York. So we tried to make it fast, and Shifa was close, and that was the only place that had this medicine. And so he's laundering money for Al-Qaeda through there, because that's where allegedly, I'm going to allege this is true, because when Darko and I walked in there, what did we see? We saw the same flyers and baskets and a bunch of Islamic, I don't know who they were, but a bunch of Muslim people in there, or Islamists. I don't know who they are. I'm not accusing anyone. They were all filling prescriptions, and that place gets a lot of business because they used to have only the rare medicines that he used to. So he was connected, and I think it was an Al-Qaeda connection, because he would only give medicines that are so rare you couldn't get them. You had to Walgreens doesn't carry Cadian. I doubt it. I doubt they ever did. He used to give medicines from the Albanian KLA doctor connected with the United Nations in New York. He told me there was someone, they said they're from Serbia or Croatia. I think she didn't say anything. She said she was Serbian, but when she saw the Al-Qaeda flyers and people giving money and raising money for Al-Qaeda, Darko and I were shocked, but she didn't say anything. Her name was Sina. You can look her up. This was between 1999 and 2001. All the employees should be looked up in here because they all did nothing about raising money for Al-Qaeda. And then last night I go down to the Shifa pharmacy. I've been telling you they want to make bombs over there. And then my friend tells me with 3 blocks down at George and Getty, what are they doing? That's where the New York City terrorists live. Now I believe this is all connected. I'm an international criminologist. I'm an anti-terrorist investigator, and it all looks very pretty to me right now. There's some other things that I could say, but I believe I should be paid for this. And if someone doesn't get me out of that apartment quick, I'm going to ask my friend. He said, when you want to go down and I'll show you where the terrorists live. I told him tomorrow at dusk, I don't want an FBI following me. The way I'm treated around here, I think I'm going to hold you off ransom. let's see what else we can say about this. Anyway, all they do is look like pretty doctors in here, but don't you believe it, because they're an Albanian extremist using the diplomatic immunity, just like Hadovich, the international arms trader that me and Darko exposed and wrote the book about, that worked right in the same office. He used to ask me to fix his computer all the time because he was convinced that the Croat ambassador, diplomat, and Darko were giving it viruses, and he trusted me. I could give West Point a whole lecture on how they act, and he had to go too before 9/11. I've had enough of it around here. This proves I'm superior to the whole fucking town. Don't you mess with me or you're gonna blow up. You hear me? You pay me. You start paying me, and if you don't, there will be no more information. And right across the street, what shames the whole Clifton, loathsome police department is ever since I've been going here and they've been raising money for Al-Qaeda. I'm sure they changed their look now. Look what's across the street. Loathsome yokels. They've been here all along, and they didn't know it. For 20 years, this has been going on. In 1999, they were raising money for Al-Qaeda with flyers and papers, and people were putting dollar bills in baskets right here, sending me to fill prescriptions I could only fill down by where the PLO members and Chifa is, where I got robbed for cocaine. And the Clifton police are sitting right here, and they're so stupid they don't even know about it till I happened to say it this evening, luckily for their loathsome selves. I am infuriated with this town, the way I've been treated, and fucking police that should go back to 101 criminology at William Patterson College. They're so stupid they can't even tell the difference between a goddamn mental crisis and Al-Qaeda information. Homeland Security says if you have a tip, tell us. When I called, they put me in a mental hospital. They're ready. They had a 20-minute huddle whether they should take the information or not, and they did. And the only information and report they ever took from me and treated me like a piece of dog shit, an animal, is when my father said he was going to call Serge Bromwich, the Netherlands, and Harry Shortway was going to come. And the Netherlands in particular got a contract, and me and Jeremy Paxman were going to be dead. And believe me, that's not over yet. And they weren't going to take that report. That's a terroristic threat. It's not a mental crisis. Fuck you all here. Go to hell.